This is the reading for those of you born in Scorpio from 23 October to 22 November. It's the general part about Scorpio, the sign of intensity, passion, and fearless initiative. It's also the ruler of the 8th house, the house of death, sex, and resources. And all these subjects can't be taken lightly because Scorpio mirrors a lot of intensity in his actions, and he also prefers to keep his emotion underneath a hard exterior wherever possible, even if it's a water sign. And in tarot, the card associated with Scorpio is the death, normally a card that people are afraid of, but it can also be the death of the old us and the birth of under our higher self, or more energetical after we conquer the flesh. So it's not necessarily a card to be scared of, but we said that the 8th house is the house of death, and the ruler of Scorpio is Pluto, this planet of finality, of an end, of separation. And Pluto is the final destination in our solar system. It's the ruler of the underworld, and normally we are sensitive to Pluto energy. It's give us a sense of lack of control, and it's like we are playing with fire, and a lot of psychological growth that comes with the change. It's a state of imbalance, and after that a reconstruction, because we see the card associated with Pluto in tarot. It's the card of judgment, so the moment when we have to shed our skin and evaluate what did we do with our time on this solar system. And I like in this special Cosmos deck that Scorpio is associated with the sun. So not only this association with the death, but it brings the light, it brings the transformation. I will do a reading for each of the 3 periods with the sub-rulers. For the first decan of Scorpio from 23 October to 2 November, we have the sub-ruler Mars, the warrior, and the card from Minor Arcana is the 5 of Cups, which is also called the Lord of Loss of Pleasure. It's not a coincidence that Halloween, when the veil between the worlds is so thin, it's also in this period. We see in this card somebody who experienced loss, maybe even death of somebody close. There is a kind of acceptance that this death, because Scorpio is associated with that, is part of the of life. And in the same way, like a warrior accepts the death as a consequence, a natural consequence of life. So it's with death becomes also the transformation, the change. It seems like the harmony is lost here. As any card in tarot, we have the problem, but we also have a solution. The solution will be what can we learn from our mistakes and how can we move on. And the questions that we can look at is what seems lost, what are we despair over, why are we disappointed, what do we feel sorry about, what are the possible alternatives if we didn't lose what we lost, and what awaits for us, and what have we learned from our mistakes. So if we look at the card before, the cups are still full, but then it's like he doesn't really care. And the question even is there water? Is this wine or even blood? If we look at the card from the other side, we see people who were trying to help him. Now it looks like from each cup there is another color, so maybe it is blood, but then or wine. But people are leaving, like they are not willing to assist him anymore. And in the card after, we see that he is so much caught in his own problem that even when somebody asks for help, he doesn't see that. And here it's even more obvious that from each cup there is another color, so the liquid is different. And then if we look at all the symbols from the card, we see here a bridge, like the bridge between the worlds, like we even mentioned with Halloween. And it seems like in the other side you are safe. We have this castle here, and the fact that it's a water and it's a constant movement and changing. The life is constantly moving. The question also remained, was this only an accident? But like it looks here, he doesn't really care about that. And he keeps his clothes like a cloak of invisibility. And the fact that it's number five, it's also the number of freedom, and change with that comes with that. But we also, because it's a card of grief, we can consider the 5 stage of grief. Denial, he looks around, he doesn't seems to believe it. Then maybe anger, then bargaining and trying to change the things, then a kind of depression like we have here, and then the positive part when the acceptance comes, and then we realize that we get help. We have to focus maybe on the help that we will receive from others and not so much focus on what we lost, because if we look here, it looks like despair, regret and remorse. It hits us like great waves with force, and everybody is moving freely and we are the only one stuck. So it's a time maybe even to honor the sadness, but then focus on what we still have, like in this 5 of Cups, this owl here, even if she's wise and she has a mouse in her back, I think, and she looks at the 3 eggs that are destroyed, but she still has the 2 who are still coming. So focus on what's coming and what the future will bring. And in the 5 of Potion, honor your sorrow, but also focus on what is coming, and trust that you feel you are lost, but you continue your way with the experience that you gain from this lost, because that's what we have learned. This is a warrior. We learn, we stand up, we rise again. And from the White Sage Tarot, we have this 5 of Cups, where it really looks like crying over spilled milk. Sitting there, it also affects our solar plexus. And we have here a lot of fire with the warrior, and even we said here that this is the sun. So we need to get in action in the Beneath the Moon. This 5 of Cups is the story of Lorona, the weeping women, that the one who, in a moment of being very upset about losing her husband, and in order to punish him, she killed her children. But when she was supposed to die, she couldn't. She was not accepted there. She had to come back and find her children. All these are lessons in the end for this period. Lesson on how to deal with suffering and with loss. And as difficult as it is, this vitality, this power of the Mars, it shows that it's possible to find a way. There is love after love. There is life after love. There is life after each loss. And just focus on the positive. And I pick up 2 extra cards from the Oracle of Souls, because it's so much here about heavy energy. And one of the cards is the Ageless, the light in the darkness. So I like this very much. This is something that it's about healing. The healing that comes with the acceptance. We said acceptance was the 5th degree of healing from suffering, and that's also present here. So it's a kind of confirmation that trust that the healing is coming. And from the Mystic Wanderer, because it's this is life, it's a mystical journey, but with in Scorpio it's even more about mystic and mysterious. We have this beautiful vision quest. They are calling me now from a distance. My mentors offer their wise assistance. to aid my life, each dream and goal, their quest I undertake with heart and soul. The mystical journey is long and true. I'll be courageous and wander through. And this is, I think, the most important message for this period. This is the reading for the second decan of Scorpio, the one from 3 to 12 November. The ruler of Scorpio is Pluto, but for this period we have the ruler, the Sun. And the card from the minor arcana is the Six of Cups, and it's called the Lord of Pleasure. The shadows and the grief and the loss that is sometimes associated with Scorpio, and Scorpio can be very intense in his emotional relationship. And then the sun that is coming, it's just bringing bright reminder of the happy days, and sometimes it can even convince the Scorpio that everything in the past was all right. And there is a special joy we hold from the memories of the past, and an even greater sorrow when we find it cannot last. So it's from the deep of the despair to the heights of happiness and joy. This is this card of nostalgia, happy childhood memories, reunion with lifelong friends, reconciliation. And we see here that it's in a safe area. It's also order and refuge and rest, time for reflection, and also the family ties. We see what was before, how they work together and they fill up the cups with joy. I see that that the flowers are a symbol of joy here. And from the other side, we see how the parents are watching over them, maybe the ancestors, and in a way they are grateful that these young people here are just showing kindness to each other. They still fulfill the tradition, let's say, of bringing joy in each other's life. And after that, so after they are done with filling up the cups with joy, they just go back to play. And the number 6, it's the number of harmony. It's also from the lovers in the tarot. So the number 6, and here we see a heart. It's full of of flowers, so full of joy. So we can think of what kind of memories or relationship from the past they just came back into your life, what insights or awareness they provide, what is bringing you pleasure. Maybe just think of that. What's something from your past that really brought you pleasure, like we see in this card, a sign of great memories. Feel that joy and bring it in this present moment, paying attention not to escape into this memory. It can be a nice place to visit the past, but we actually have to return in the present. And this is also memories from the past, how it was when you were a child and you have this high tea for all those girls, and even a cat here. I have to think of in the last video I made, there was a lot of noise and there was a cat there, and the noise was made by my own cat, so she also has her own way of be playful. But again, we have to enjoy it, and then we can come back into the present. And these are also nice memories from the past, like potions that we can open when we need them. They can flower and they can bring us back the sweetness of those memories in our present. And why not, if we believe that there is no future, past, and present, and in the quantum that there is always now, we can really feel the joy of this 6 of potions. And if you look at this card, we have white and yellow flowers, which are a symbol of innocence and happiness. When you have the chance to reconnect with your inner child, once you enjoy the sweet memories of the past. And from the White Sage Tarot, we have the 6 of Cups, a lot of creativity in this card.
we release our creativity when we feel the joy. This is the third eye, the violet light here. So this stream of joy and creativity. And from the beneath the moon, we have the story of the Snow Queen. Wow, I remember I saw these stories as a movie some time ago, and it's very impressive about these two friends. The Snow Queen, it's just going to frozen his heart, I think the heart of the Kai and the boy, and then he just goes in the palace of the Snow Queen, and he even forgets about his good friend Greta, but she doesn't give up, and she goes through a lot of adventure to get back to him, and with the sweet memories that they have together, with her tears, she managed to melt the ice from his heart, and then together they can feel the joy again and go back home. It's also about reconnecting from the past. What I realize sometimes when I go back home and then I meet my old friends from the high school, from the time I was young, my mother used to say that these are the friendships that you never forget, because you know each other the way you are now, not the way life is going to transform you. And the moment you meet again, you just remember, it's like indeed something is melting in your heart, and you forget all the serious stuff of being an adult, and then we just laugh based on the memories that we have together. Like we go back in time, but of course remaining present, and we talk about what we have in the present moment, but we still feel the joy that this sun is really shining on us. And because it's Scorpio, of course, we have to look at the darker side. So I have a card from the Mausolea, and the card for this period, it's the Mother of Creation, Danu, the Mother Goddess of Creation, and all of the fair folk are descendant from her. It's a beautiful card. It's about motherhood, ferocity, and creation. So from this space of joy and playfulness, we can also create even in darker times. And then from the mystic wanderer, we have the card of werewolf, of breaking habits. A vision so dark it cannot stay, this harmful side must be kept at bay, but it highlights an issue from which I'm running. Change is needed, for which support is coming. The mystical journey is long and true. I be courageous and wander through. I do believe that these sweet memories and the joy that they invoke can help us to break whatever habit we have in the present moment. I just hope you enjoy your reading, and for me it was a special reading because it's also the card associated with my birthday. So thank you for watching. This is the reading for those born in the third decan of Scorpio between 13 and 22 of November. We know the ruler of Scorpio is Pluto, but for this period we have as sub-ruler Venus. And this planet offers beauty and power and happiness and wealth. At least she wants to bring it everywhere she goes. But in a way, if we look at a card that is associated with this period, the Seven of Cups, this sounds too good to be true. There are a lot of choices here, and cups are overflow, but not all the choices are really treasure, so sometimes they just appear to be. What is interesting here is that it's called the Lord of Illusionary Success, and if we look at all these 7 cups, we recognize the important cards from Tarot, the main major arcana. We have here the Empress, which is Venus. We have here the veiled figure, which is the High Priestess, and then it's the Moon. We have here the Serpent, which is definitely the Magician, and that's associated with Mercury. We have here the Tower, which is the Tower as such, and it is Mars. We have all these jewels here, make us think of the Wheel of Fortune, which is Jupiter. Then we have the Wreath here, which is the World, and that is Saturn. And then, of course, we have the Dragon, which has to be the Sun card. So it's also possible that by looking at that, we can visualize the best of our life, and from there we can start getting action. And why not? We are allowed to have our dreams and dream big, but not forget also to take action in the real world. So if we look at the card before, there is nothing in any of the cups and it's cloudy, so he is trying to manifest. If we look at the card from the other side, that people are amazed about what he can bring into reality. It is a beautiful dreamer. And then if we look at the card after, we see that he chose to pick up the jewels, which will be the Wheel of Fortune. And then the Wheel of Fortune, we know that it can go all direction. And it's interesting enough, then the clouds are here, the same color that they were before. So this is more like a storm. And now it's just to see what is coming. And he also has the serpent here. So he also picks up the magician power. So for now on, he can be co-creator. If we look at this card again, what we said, there are so many jewels here and they can also offer trouble. The challenge is more for us to choose between what is useful for us and what not. I don't remember now the name of this animal. I think I saw one in the water when I was in Bonaire diving, one of the best time of my life, and I know they are dangerous, better stay away from them. And then if we look at this card, every potion here from the Seven of Potion, you see, can be tempting and some not so. It's obvious that not all the choices will bring us happiness. And the same in this card, it's more positive. The wishes are there, and we see in one, we have now here the rainbow, but then she is here as a magician. This is a practitioner. She knows that everything is possible, but now she's tried to meditate, also being in a way protecting from the outside world and looking inside for the answer and what she has really to do to accomplish any of this. In this card, the dreaming part and the pieces of glass here, like broken dreams, it's very obvious. It's important to remain in the real world, and this is all a world of inspiration from where we bring our reality. And of course, it's the number 7, which is the number of spirituality, and that could be a sign that by knowing what to choose, by knowing how to accept the challenge of making the choice, and even how to deal with what is good for us and what not, all these possibilities that have no guarantee of completion, and all this fantasy, and it's actually a connection with the spirit world. So it's important then to know how to deal with them, and that's the path to spirituality, when we realize that all around us maybe it is a dream and it's for us to create using our own energy. We can also ask ourselves what are our fantasy about the future, make a list maybe with the most important 7 dreams, and then also realizing what are the steps that we have to do in this reality if we want to accomplish any of them. This card, the 7 of Cups, we see this beautiful ribbon here. It is the idea that we have to choose with the heart. So wherever we choose from all this dream world, we have to choose with the heart. From Beneath the Moon, the card associated with 7 of Cups, it's the story of Aladdin, and we all know he has this magic lamp and a ring that helps him to bring things in reality. But then, of course, the Grand Vizier is not happy with what he can do, and then he steals the lamp from him. And so it's all about getting and losing and then getting back this beautiful lamp that can bring big dreams in reality. Maybe it is the power in ourselves to become the magician, the way I see the story. He does this with the help of the loved one. Can be here the Venus in this decan. He has true love, and then with that together they can obtain all they want. And because it's about Scorpio, This is the Mystic Wanderer card that came out for this reading. The candle, the firework, the heat unravels what is not real, so that at last I can see and feel. The mystical journey is long and true. I'll be courageous and wander through. Are there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 candles here as well? How to find the inner light that helps you follow your path, find out what is true and what not. And from the Mausolea Oracle deck, the card that came is this Queen of Shadow, about instability and suspicion, not always holding up at her end of the bargain, and sometimes with a display of anger. It is the other way of dealing with the choices when things are not going the way we like. That's the part that we also have to embrace, and I like this combination of cards. I hope it's obvious, because we have definitely the light and the shadow. This is very important for us to work with both of them. I found this an interesting reading, and with beautiful cards and beautiful story. We all dream to have it all. The abundance is all around us, and it's just for us to make the right choices. For those of you born in this period, to use the amazing energy of Venus. Thank you for watching.